So when it comes to crime, some experts predict what is happening in California could soon happen here in Baltimore. It was almost as if getting caught was never considered by a thief who walked into this Fresno, California boutique and walked out with 23 pairs of designer jeans.
He stuck his hands through the arms of the hangers, lifted them off the racks, and ran.
Both property crime and violent crime have soared in this city since California voters approved Proposition 47 6 years ago, a measure designed to reduce the prison population by turning many felonies into misdemeanors and shifting the focus away from low-level offenses.
Clearly, the data suggests that there is no public safety value in prosecuting these low-level offenses.
It's similar to the goals recently announced by State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby, and one which critics predict will take a drastic turn.
It disincentivizes the police to make those arrests, because why would they engage in the paperwork drill and the catch and release when they know that the gatekeeper is going to kick that person right back on the street and it was a wasted 7, 8, 10, 12 hours.
In California, larcenies and car break-ins are soaring. The law now allows that items valued below $950 be classified as misdemeanors.
There's anecdotal evidence that thieves, when they're caught, say, well, I'm not going to steal anything more than $950 because I just want a misdemeanor.
In Fresno, the move has business owners relying on their own protection as a new form of law enforcement sweeps the state.
I now keep a taser. I keep it visible, so if I think someone is indicating that they're going to do something, they know that I have a way to protect myself.
We got to come up here and kind of guard the front, make them uncomfortable to get them out of here.
It has everything to do with reducing prison population, which is not going to make us safer.
Well, State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby began employing some of these measures a year ago, and last week she pointed to the city's crime reduction as it could be, she says, a result.
Zero consequences. Fox 45's Maxine Stryker joins us live to explain. Maxine?
Well, Mary, with Mosby's office no longer prosecuting trespassing cases and police being instructed not to arrest for it, it leaves a lot of people who will feel unsafe in their own homes.
There's still a need for these laws to be on the books.
Trespassing is a low-level crime, but it's a crime nevertheless, intruding on a person's private property, often making them feel not so at home. Former prosecutor in the city state's attorney's office, Jeremy Elridge, says trespassing laws are meant to protect property and business owners.
Trespass protects me from someone coming on my property without permission, somebody that may be harassing me or committing other crimes. But if we know that the chief prosecutor in Baltimore City is not going to protect my property interests, then what is the point of having a prosecutor or a police force?
Mosby says police will not arrest for the crimes her office is no longer prosecuting.
It affects your ability to feel safe in your home or feel safe in your business.
A move former Deputy Police Commissioner Jason Johnson says puts police in a terrible position.
If they're not going to charge anyone with a crime, and they know they can't charge someone with a crime, and they tell someone to leave and they say, no, I'm not leaving, well, what are the police supposed to do?
The Baltimore City FOP reacting on Twitter, pointing out trespassing could happen on an even larger scale, saying, so we're clear, Marilyn Mosby with the new policy of least intrusive policing. Folks can now trespass at Camden Yards, M&T Stadium, the SA's office, and City Hall with impunity.
Certainly a bedrock of American society are private property rights.
The tweet catching the attention of State Delegate Kathy Shalega, who says trespassing is one of the most troubling crimes Mosby will no longer prosecute. She thinks it will only lead to more lawlessness and could put people in danger.
What would stop someone from selling drugs on your front yard? What would stop someone from using drugs on your front steps?
Now, last year, police data shows 51 people were arrested for trespassing, even with Mosby's policy in place then, once the COVID pandemic began. But that was a dramatic decrease from 2019, when data shows 143 people were arrested for trespassing, nearly triple the amount of last year. Clearly, the data suggests that there is no public safety value in prosecuting these low-level offenses.
In a city in crisis, Baltimore moves toward a more progressive crime-fighting plan as the city state's attorney Marilyn Mosby says she will no longer prosecute low-level crimes. Well, we have live team coverage on the move towards a progressive crime-fighting plan First, we begin with Mackenzie Frost live with if the city police commissioner is on board with the new agenda.
Gabrielle, Commissioner Michael Harrison says the policy has been followed in the past when it was in place temporarily, and now that it's permanent, he says it will continue to be followed. But we demanded answers from him today about if this new policy from the city's top prosecutor will make it more difficult for his officers to make arrests from other criminals.
Baltimore City's top prosecutor, Marilyn Mosby, making her pandemic-era pause on prosecution of drug possessions, sex workers, and other low-level crimes permanent. But not everyone is thrilled, especially people who live in the city and see these crimes happen every day.
Clean up this neighborhood. Get rid of the drugs, you know.
There is a concern in the communities about what the reaction is to this now new policy.
Good afternoon, and thank you for being here today.
During a news conference announcing some leadership changes at the Baltimore Police Department, we demanded answers from Police Commissioner Michael Harrison about the new policy.
Are you worried about this new policy making it more difficult for the police department to hold these people accountable in these communities?
Well, we have been working under this new policy change since the beginning of COVID when she first enacted that policy change. And the department is aggressively going after traffickers and distributors of illegal drugs, and we make those arrests. And those arrests are being prosecuted. It did not make crime go up.
That claim isn't as clear as Harrison or Mosby are touting. Violent crimes, including robberies, shootings, murders, and aggravated assaults, declined nearly 18% in 2020 compared to 2019. But Mosby first took office in January 2015, and from 2014 to 2019, violent crimes surged 35%.
To see any decrease is not to see an absolute decrease, but a relative decrease over the years.
Are you worried about this making it more difficult to go after these criminals and prosecute them, though, if you're not looking at these drug dealers and on these street corners where it's happening in the open air?
We are paying attention to drug deals. Open air drug air markets are important to us. We get those complaints every day, and we work with our commanders to make sure that we're investigating them.
Mosby and Harrison say the additional resources now freed up from these crimes not being prosecuted will be shifted to investigate the murders and shootings happening across the city.
Now, Commissioner Harrison did only face questions about this new policy from us today. Coming up at 6, hear what city council members are asking and demanding answers from the commissioner about this new policy, as well as the details that we still don't know about this plan.